Start working.
Rest.
Okay, so we're on, what is this? Daf Samar Gimel, 63a, and we'll buy the Mishnah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'kol
Enough lemon there?
Very good, very good.
There are two Mishnahs.
How will Isha to Kedeshesli? Yeah, that's the first
They
Mishnah.
made Daf Yomi already made the CM on Kiddushin.
Oh,
I
yeah?
don't think so. I think it's tomorrow. Let's see.
Okay, so we have the Mishnah, it's all kinds of conditions over here. We mentioned many halachas about conditions in this parak. Or I'm marrying you on the condition that I'm going to, what do they call today? Protectio.
Shilton is what?
Shilton is the government. I'll speak to the government to the government in your favor. What they, or I'll work for you as a worker. That means I'm not going to charge you for my labor. These things are worth money. And he's saying, I'm going to marry you on the condition that I do that. So it's very interesting that there's going to be a sugya what the Gemara is going to talk about. Can he use this to be the actual Kiddushin? I'm going to marry you. Instead of a ring, I'm going to do you something which is worth money. I'll do you a service which is worth money. But the Mishnah doesn't say that. The Mishnah says, why do you call it? No, Tovas Hana means when you don't give something which is worth money, but you give that is a question. Is that considered?
Well, I like the government.
Oh,
I'll
thank
make
you.
sure that the government doesn't bother you. Isn't that just Tovas Hana?
Well, you need some protection with some government official. So I'll take care of that for you. The case of Tovas Hana was that you have the option of giving it to who you want to give it to. Is that considered enough? That's considered money or not? And we didn't understand why not. If it's something you'd pay for in the market, that was a cash over there. We left it as hanging as a question. Some even said that if you hold that, you're allowed to make money on it. So then it surely is money. We left that as a question. But this, the heart for sure is worth money. People pay money for these services. And surely, yes, I'm that I'm going to work for you as a laborer and I'm not going to charge you. So the service is worth money. Surely it's worth money.
The Kiddush is, no, you have to say it's a type of service you charge. It's not like I ask you,
Yes, it's
could you
worth
make
money.
an appointment for me at the.
It's worth
your
money.
front- Right.
It's worth money.
He's
Something
gonna
which is worth money.
He's going to be her accountant.
Yeah, that for sure. But
So it's worth
something
money.
that it's not
So
showing.
that's worth money. But Mishnah doesn't say that I'm marrying you for that service. That would be Aviyatu Kadeshasli Bamesha Dabra Laich Shilton. Doesn't say that. It says Amanas. Amanas means like all the other conditions we had on the condition that I give you 200 zuz or something like that.
So no,
So
he's giving her
he's
money
giving her-
and also this.
Right. That's what the Mishnah seems to say. All the
Because it's
Amanas.
all Manas.
Amanas means on the condition. Means that's not what I'm marrying you with. I'm marrying you
With money
on the
and-
condition. I'm making the condition. So saying this is a condition of the marriage. This is not the way that he's marrying her. And the Gemara is going to point this diak out that that's what the words Amanas mean. And the whole parak that we have. So it's Pasha. So what's the Chiddush over here? I don't know. So it says that if any condition, you can make it every condition you want. You can make a condition I'll stand on my head, even though it's not worth any.
Yeah, but at least he's giving her money already, so then this is.
Now why? But then why did he make a condition? So
Yeah.
she needed some help. She needed some service over there, and he said, "I'm going to marry you on the condition that I do that service for you." So the Mishnah says, "Tibra Allah al shultan v'asim mokafol mukudeshes." If she fulfilled. If he fulfilled the condition, so it's good. If not, not. And I don't see any chiddush. There doesn't
I'm
seem to be any
sorry.
chiddush in that.
I got to as far as the Se'imach Kapoel.
So that's the end of the case. And then starts the halacha, the psak. The psak is, if he did it, it's good. If he didn't do it, it's not good. Tibur Allah l'shulton and asim okafo also then mukudeshes. But if he did, right? If he did what he said he's going to do, so then it's a good condition. If he didn't do what he said he's going to do, it's not a good condition. And it seems as simple as can be. How can no chiddush l'chora? But the Gemara talks right away about the diak that was mentioned, almanas. That Mishnah doesn't say that I'm marrying you for that purpose. It says I'm marrying you on a condition that I'm going to do this. The Mishnah is talking about that he gave her a shavar pruta. He gave her a ring, whatever. He gave her with what to be mukudeshes. But Mishnah is just talking about an outside condition. And the Gemara is wondering, how about if he would have married her? Do you mean to say that if he would have married her for this service and this labor, so wouldn't it be good Kiddushin? Why is the Mishnah talk about such a case of Amanas? Why doesn't it talk about a case of that's the actual Kiddushin? So that's the Gemara's kasha. Ubashar low? You mean to say that if that would be the payment of the Kiddushin, it wouldn't be enough.
I don't understand.
Wishing al who is the end of Rishlakish. Rishlakish, the Mishnah is talking about that he married her for Shavakruta, a ring, whatever he does. That's Moshe Yisrael. Almanas Shadaber Alaych L'Shlotan. That's what the Mishnah says. So the Rishlakish is pointing out that the Mishnah is not talking about with what he married her. The Mishnah is telling you a condition. But how did he marry her? The way you marry. I guess
I
that's
don't
yeah.
understand the schar law.
Schar is just another way of saying that. And if he would have used that to be the Kiddushin money, it wouldn't be good enough. If he tells
If that
Kudeshasli,
condition were the
no
schar,
condition, no conditions. If he would have done the service as the payment of the pruta, over schar low, if he would,
as schar.
right, we would have said over fruta low, whatever. Is that not worth the pruta? Can he not make that to be that he's marrying her for the service? I read Kudeshasli with the service that I'm going to do for you. But Tanya, the more busy price of that services are acceptable as a Kiddushin. It doesn't have to be a piece of money or a ring that's a tangible object. It's valuable. Over schar lo, Batanya, b'schar shekavtich al hachamor, or shehoshavtich b'karona b'sfina enim b'kedushin. So if he says, I'm marrying you with the money that you owe me for giving you the donkey ride, or the wagon ride, or the boat ride, that's not good. It happened already, and it's only a milva. She owes him money, and he says, don't pay me the money. That's no good, because we learned many times, I'm a kaddish for milva and mukadeshes, because he's not giving her anything. She has it already, and she owes him, and he's just saying, I'm a vata, you don't have to pay me that. He didn't give her anything.
So all the milvas and the getter that they happened already, that's what you're not giving.
Right, and here, if he did the service, and she owes him money for it, and now he says, you don't have to pay me, and that should be the Kiddushin, it's not good.
But
that's what
was accepted as worth money.
So yeah, that's already you're right. It's very good. But those are details that sometimes you can say Hanos milk, how much is worth to get it, but let's not go into complications. Let's try to keep it simple. Right, but talk about our halacha. But if he says b'schar, first one line, b'schar she'ar kivech halachamor, she'oshivech b'karona b'sfina, yes mukadeshes. If he says I'm marrying you, with I'm going to give you a free ticket. You could come into my donkey, you can come into the wagon, into the boat. So that's worth money, and I'm marrying you for that.
Sure, I don't marry you.
So mukadeshes. So you see, that doesn't have to be actually gives her money, gives her something which is worth money. So what's the problem if he says I'm gonna? What?
Today it's called the limousine ride. Then it's called donkey ride.
So that's a kasha. How come Shlakish says that the Mishnah is only talking about almanas, but it wouldn't be good for the Kiddushin itself? Why shouldn't it be good?
To the wedding,
You might want to say that maybe this Bryce also is talking about only a condition. Maybe the Bryce is not talking about the actual Kiddushin, it's talking about the condition. On the condition that he is going to give her the donkey ride, donkey fare, whatever. But it doesn't say that. Well, b'schar kamar, it says b'schar she'ar kiveh. That doesn't mean almanas. It doesn't say almanas over here. It says b'schar. That means that this is the words say that. The words say that I'm marrying you for that service. But oh, Tanya, also another Bryce. If you're not happy with this Bryce, bring another Bryce. It says shevi mi b'tzapsa v'ikadosh lo. The woman is willing to become married to him for the money that it takes to pay somebody to sit, to be an accompaniment. Tzapsa means accompaniment.
Do the pay for that?
Yeah, it costs you what you want. Yeah,
No, that's the help. If you don't pay someone that,
just not to be alone. Yeah, people have that also. People have that also.
That's a psychiatrist. That's not because they're a friend.
That's what they're talking.
But the psychiatrist doesn't have to listen, and he does have to listen. So of course, when it says here, "Shavimi v'akadosh loch," of course we have to add on, and he said, "Avet mukudeshesli v'schar she'eshev imoch v'tzavsa." So also they're going to get married already eventually, so they're going to be a lot of tzavsa. But just the fact that's the Kiddushin already. The first visit is going to be the Kiddushin, and after that it's going to be already married. But other examples also of things that are worth money. He knew how to entertain. So whatever kind of gesture or gests he did.
You gotta pay a lot of money.
We called upon that he's a dancer, and this kind costs money to perform this dance. Which Rashi says means she had something to build. She had the materials, she had everything, but she needed somebody to build. So if he's gonna build, just like there were buildings she wanted, so he, for that labor that he put it together, so also it's worth money. So it says all these cases, shaman and yesh b'shavar pruta mukadeshes, v'ma b'ena mukadeshes. It has to be a shavar pruta. So here you have a case again that he's being mekadesh with a service. So you see, it is a good kedushin. You might say over here also that it means that this is only the Tanai, it's not the actual kedushin. Hachinami b'diyav v'la shavar pruta. This service is besides the pruta. This is just a condition. It doesn't say that. The shaman also kama. He says you have to evaluate if it's a shavar pruta or not. Conditions don't have to be worth a shavar pruta. Here it says it has to be a shavar pruta. So it says openly that you could use services, that valuable services that are a shavar pruta. You could use that as the kedushin. So the kasha is, why did Rish Lakish say that our Mishnah is not talking about the actual kedushin? Why is Rish Lakish say it's talking about condition only? Tif to the Rish Lakish. It seems to be a kasha Rish Lakish who didn't want to learn our Mishnah. It's talking about the kedushin itself. Amalach Rish Lakish, there's a machlokas going on, and some hold you could be mekadesh with a service, some hold you can't be mekadesh with a service. He's still sticking to his opinion that our Mishnah would not hold that you could be mekadesh with a service. Only use it as a condition, but you can't be mekadesh with it. And he's going to make a machlokas out of it. Hi Tana bro savar, eino l'schir selo l'besof, v'tana didan savar, yeshna l'schir metchila v'adsof. So the word bro means outside, the outside Tana bro. The word bryce also comes from the same word. How do we say on Shabbos? But as miras, the whole
Which name?
the Mikoshe, what? Chevas Bura means the chayos of the outside chayos, the wild chayos. Bura means outside. Melabar. So the outside brisa and our Tana. Our Tana that means our Tana, our Mishnah, and the brisa that you bought, all these brises that say that you could be mekadesh with a service. There's a machlokas going on, which we had already
This is
mentioned.
Rish Lakish answering the
Right,
question.
right. That you don't. It's true. You prove that you can mekadesh with a service, and I'm saying you can't be mekadesh with a service based on our Mishnah because there's a machlokas going on. There's a machlokas of eino l'schir selo l'besof or yeshna l'schir metchila v'adsof, which we had to mention at this once upon a time, and it's coming up again. When someone does you a service and he owes money, when is the bill due? When does he owe the money? Someone did you a service. When do you owe him the money? Do you owe him the money at the end of the whole service? Till then, there was no bill. The bill is only at the end, or it's really a running bill the whole time. Of course, you don't stand there with 10 agarot and telling him to paying the whole time. But be karon. But in principle, that's really what's happening. That as he does the service, you owe him money as it goes, and then at the end, you give him the last. So here the Gemara comes out that if you hold that the service is only payable at the end, so then there's a shavar pruta over there. Whatever work you did, whatever it could be pruta, it could be 10 prutas, it could be a few shkalim, it could be a few $100, but the whole thing comes a lump sum at the end of the service. So then if you say I'm mekadesh you with the service, it's good. It'll be good because that's the shavar pruta. At the end of the whole service, you did a performance, and then at the end of the evening, there's a bill, whatever it is going to be, and I'm mekadesh you with that before you start this the performance. You say I'm mekadesh you with this performance, and then you do the performance, and then there comes a lump sum, and I gave it to you because this I said before I did it, not a milva. I said that I'm hereby going to mekadesh you with this performance, and you did it, and then when the end of the last what do you call that? The last drum, that is when the chiyuv, and I gave it to you. I'm here by Mekadesh with this $1,000 that I right now. That's not
What's the
allowed.
machlokas?
That's only I only said one side so far.
Okay.
The other side is that every strum is adding up, and they don't pay it. Don't sit there the whole day putting it into your pocket while you're playing. At the end of the whole thing, but they're paying you back a loan because they owe you money from the whole evening as you were strumming. So every strum was worth a half a pruta,
Right.
and then at the end of the evening you get many prutas.
Okay.
So that's
So
not
that's-
kablanut. The first way was like a kablanut. A kablan does a job and then he gets paid for the job.
Now even that the same thing. You get paid for the job, but the job that not by the hour goes according to the job. So we don't talk about minutes, we talk about strums. But each strum is payable. If you hold, so each and just we're not going to bother the musician while he's strumming to be putting down pennies on his table. But they pay it at the end. But you know what happened really? That there was a loan at the end of the evening. When he comes with all the pennies, he's really saying, I owe you all this money because for the past 2 hours I've been owing you money. I didn't pay you, so now I'm paying you back the loan. And the last strum is also not a Shabbat Pruta. So he never gave a Shabbat Pruta. He was Mekadesh her with a milva, even though he says, I'm going to Mekadesh you with tonight's entertainment. But every Mashehu of that is not a Shabbat Pruta. Every Rega or time is less than a Pruta. So then you can't do Mekadesh with a service. So Shlokish says that this issue we're talking about is Machokas Tanam, which is totally in this, which depends on this issue. Tana Brasava in the the other Bryce, the outside Bryce that says that you could be Mekadesh with a service, holds that the whole service is payable only at the end, and then there's the Shabbat Pruta, and they're fine. So you gave a Shabbat Pruta for marriage. But Tana Didan Sava Yeshlo Eskers Mitchila about self. Our Tana didn't want to say that. Our Tana didn't want to say you're marrying for the service. He just using it as an outside condition. But the marriage has to be done with a Shabbat Pruta. He holds Yeshlo Eskers Mitchila about self that is constantly payable every strum. And that's not a Shabbat Pruta, and the last one is also not a Shabbat Pruta. So you never gave a Shabbat Pruta. Everything else is only a milva. Mekadesh milva is not. And the Gemara is happy that this question is really dependent on this machlokas.
And so Reish Lakish got out of it.
Right.
Okay.
But
let's be honest, the woman who's getting the service wants the whole concert. She's not.
Yes, but she wants a
doesn't
lot
want to
of
break
less
it up
than
into strums.
a
She's not
concert is
looking
made
at
up
it
of many
as a
strums.
hanor from
But that's
each
what
strum.
we're looking at. That's not her opinion. The question is, when is it payable?
I get
When is
that.
it payable? Bikaron, after 5 strums, you could ask for 5 strum worths, one strum each strum. Bikaron, you could be able to pay.
Yeah, but he said, I'm going to give you a concert. I'm not going to give you 1,000
Yes,
strums.
but that's what we're saying. That a concert means the horror. Maybe it's what to talk about what you're saying. But if the regular service, Chazal defined it that it's payable. Unless maybe they made it a favor, that says it's not payable till the end. Maybe that would be a nice thing. That even though the halacha is usually it's payable as you go on.
You have to control the whole concert.
No, it could be Minhag Medina. Today it's
And
different
then-
because Minhag Medina you
but
only have to pay.
It could, but if
I have a
it's
right
really
for,
working like this, if it's working like this, then the Gemara is happy that it's a mill, and it wouldn't be good Kiddushin. And Shlokish says, don't look at me. It's Machokis Tanom here, and even though you bought rice that also, that's true, but our Mishnah doesn't know like
I
that.
have a Raya thought that I was playing music at the Shari Tzedek because it was Corona. We were outside. Talmud Chacham passed by Nozer Prime. He says, see this young man playing guitar? He says, he's not getting a schar for the whole job. Every strum and strum, he's getting a schar.
That's not the
It's
Machokis
here.
over here. It's
Why
very
not?
nice. The
It
Machokis
means that
the Machokis is it when is it payable? Is it payable
When is it
as is it,
payable?
or it's not payable until the end of the whole thing, or it's payable by every strum? That's the Machokis over here. Everybody pays. You get paid for all the strums, but you get paid as you're doing it, or you get paid at the end of the whole thing. And the Gemara makes it, it's going to become Makadosh B'milva, and it wouldn't be Mekudesh. I'm never said a nice thing. I think that if they make up that it's not payable till the end, maybe then you do say
Yeah,
because
today
they
the
made
Minhag
up.
Medina it's not paid. So you Minhag
Could
Medina.
be. The Gemara wants to know if Shlokish agrees that they're.
It's a
That
soccer, the concert is more a kabbalah. We're talking about a soccer. It's not a kabbalah.
Maybe
Maybe
Kabbalah
say
also,
Kabbalah could be the
Kabbalah
same
also
thing.
could be, maybe
I
not, it's
think
not only by hours, by the job, but a job also is payable only at the end, or it's payable as you do each thing. Well, my now comes out that Rosh Lakish also agrees that there is a way to explain that you could be Mekadesh with a service. So why does he have to? Well,
not like
Rosh Lakish himself agrees that there is room to say, and there are Tanam that say so, that it's only payable at the end, and there is a Shabbat Pruta, and you could do it. So why does he choose to explain our Mishnah that it's dafka for the condition, and for the Kiddushin it wouldn't be good because it's payable the whole time, and therefore it's less than a Shabbat Pruta? Who told him what our Tana holds? There is such a Tana. Who told Rish Lakish? What's pushing Rish Lakish to say that our Mishnah is talking about that according to Mandama that says that it's payable the whole time, and therefore there's no Shabbat Pruta, and it has to be that he gave her a Shabbat Pruta, and this is only a condition. Why didn't he learn the Mishnah the way the Brisa says that he gave it for Kiddushin? Amarava, the Mishnah doesn't. The Rava says the Mishnah doesn't say that. Rish Lakish read the Mishnah. Masistin Kashi say the Mishnah was bothering him because the Mishnah doesn't say that he gave it for the Kiddushin. The Mishnah says Almanas. My iri the Tani Almanas. This li b'schar. Elishram Mina. Almanas. Eicha diyav lahu. Why does the Mishnah have to say Almanas? These words we started off right away. That the word Almanas doesn't seem to say. Oh, I didn't mean to cross it out. I meant to emphasize it. This word Almanas. That's what Shlokish just read the words, and he said the Mishnah doesn't say he gave it for Kiddushin. The Mishnah says he gave it as a condition. So Shlokish derived from the Mishnah that it's only acceptable as a condition. It's not acceptable as the Kiddushin itself. And then the explanation is going to be because our Tana holds that the service is only is payable the whole time. So each second, each strum on the guitar is not a Shava Pruta, and that's why it's not a good Kiddushin. And the Mishnah only uses it as an example of a condition, not an example of the Kiddushin itself. But if you'd hold that it's only payable at the end, Rish Lakish is fine with that. That is going to be a Shava Pruta, and you could be Mekadosh for a service also.
Okay, just weird. The machlekes of ein tzchius, yesh tzchius mitzvil that says well, but ein tzchius I would say, what's it based on?
How Chazal will convey the obligation to pay for services. You said that if there's Minhag Medina, that's different. Probably Chazal will agree to that also. But if not, if there's a stam, so then Chazal said that's how the mechanics of a service works.
Why do you say Hamadin? It's the way you work it out with the person.
No, if you didn't work it out, if you worked it out yourself, you have in the contract, so then you work. But if you didn't, a stam contract.
Okay, then.
So then it also depends on what the custom of that place is. That's Minhag Medina.
So what's
That's Minhag Medina means. No, Minhag Medina is an expression, not Medina Daf Medina Israel. It could be Medina's Australia. Whatever the custom of that place is, a lot of din and a lot of monetary laws go according to what's accepted.
Usually, until you finish the job, you don't get the money. If you walk out in the middle of the job, he's not paying you half. He's not paying enough. Okay, the guy does the concert and he walks out after 20 minutes of the wedding. He
doesn't even get 20 minutes.
He's not giving them a bill of the third. The guy's going to laugh at it. You walked out, you didn't finish you didn't do the wedding.
You don't get any.
Zero.
Maybe it's talking about that he finished the job, but when he finished the job, then it was payable the whole
Why
time.
should they make such a
The lumdus of how you did
know.
work. You did work for somebody.
No, why should Chazal make such a lumbus? Like, what's the necessity of such a lumbus?
It could be that's really what's happening. Unless you make it, that's what's happening. He did service for you. Why shouldn't he be able to get paid? He's not going to bother getting paid for each hammer stroke, but he'd be Karoni. He did service for you.
So if you hold yesh tzchius mitchilat tzayif, if he's working from before Shkia till after Tzeitzei Chavim, so you should have to pay him for the first part. Should come before Shkia and pay him, and then the rest you can pay the rest the next day.
Oh, that you're going into other halachas about the Yom Titin Sfaro. I don't know how it's going to affect over here. It wasn't over
Can
here.
you just translate it again for my ear?
Why? My ear, I don't have a good translation for that. I don't know the word. Chaim David pointed out, and we did find the word at the time, long time, a couple of years ago, but I don't remember it.
Okay, but what did he see to learn?
Why does the Mishnah, why does the Mishnah say the word almanas? My ear is Tani almanas. Why does the Mishnah choose to use the word almanas? I didn't say, I said a loose translation. I didn't say literally.
What's in the Tanya?
Nisni, Bishar. Let it say Bishar. Instead of saying the word almanas, it should have said Bishar. It should have said, Habiyat Mekudesh li Bishar, she adabra laich l'shilton. Elashmamina, kol almanas, echad yavlahu. We could derive from here that when you say almanas, it means that he gave her already money. This is only the condition. The words at the end are a little bit extra.
That he gave her money.
He gave her money already, and this is only the condition,
is only
which is really, you could have said it's very simple that it says in the Mishnah, almanas. That's how we learned also right away. As soon as if you like the word almanas, that's what it says. It doesn't say, it's very difficult to say that almanas means I'm marrying you for this service. It doesn't say that. And that's what the Gemara says at the end, that the word almanas is just saying condition. Therefore, Shlokish was medayik that the Mishnah didn't want to say that he's using that as the Kiddushin money. He's just using it as a condition besides the Kiddushin money that he gave. Okay, next Mishnah.
Is it less of a service because he says Amanas?
No, it's not. No. It's not the Kiddushin. The Kiddushin, he gave her a fruit. He gave her a ring. He gave her a diamond ring. Let's just leave it. That's Moshe Yisrael. Amanas. That means even if the ring is not going to be enough, I made a condition that it's only good Kiddushin that if I speak to you, if I speak to the serviceman for you.
It's connected to the gift or whatever.
Every condition, I'm doing something. I'm doing something. I'm going to make a sale or a marriage or whatever it is on a condition. Every condition that we were talking about, whatever condition you make conditions, make something. In your business is make condition, whatever the condition might be.
I'm going to bring a sound speaker. Or I'm going to bring whatever
condition. Okay.
Trumpet player, whatever it is.
Okay, next Mishnah. Again, he gave her a shavar fruit. He gave her a ring. Only if my father agrees. His father wasn't around. He didn't know if his father was going to agree to the shidduch. He said, I'm marrying you on the condition that my father agrees.
He's not around right now.
And then eventually the father hears about the shidduch. So what do you say? If he wants it, he wants it. If he doesn't want it, he doesn't
I
want it.
think so.
What's Sa'av Mekudeshes? If he agrees, then it's good. If he doesn't agree, it's not good. That was a condition. So far, it doesn't say any Kiddush. Made a condition. So the condition has to be fulfilled. How about if the father died? So he didn't agree, he didn't disagree.
So it's move on that she only wanted it while he was alive.
He only wanted it.
When he was alive to this, because he wanted to have pleasure from the shidduch or not. But now that he's not in the world, then it's not the condition.
Okay,
The
Chaim
condition
David
falls apart.
said something. I'm not sure if that's what the Gemara was going to say, but Chaim David said that he doesn't care what the father says after he dies. Did I say it right? That's what you said.
A little less than that. That's a little harsher.
But that's what he said. No,
Who doesn't care? She doesn't
the
care.
father, the son,
the
the chassan. The chassan is making a condition. I'm marrying you on the condition my father agrees.
Oh, the chassan made a condition. I'm sorry. I thought the woman would agree to the wedding. No.
I'm marrying you on the condition that my father agrees.
then father agrees. Now the father dies.
Before the wedding.
Now
So
father
saying
dies.
it's
No,
not
after the
even-
wedding.
Yeah.
After the wedding,
Oh, after that.
he
oh,
did
but
it.
but
He gave her
never
the
said.
ring,
Yeah, but he
and
never
now
said
we
if
want to
he-
find out if the father agrees. We
right,
come home and
he's
he's
on
not
the
home.
floor. He's dead.
So is it a good condition or not?
You heard about it now.
Yeah,
But he didn't say no.
No, that would probably not
Didn't
good.
say
Okay,
good.
that might be different. You have to see. You have to
No,
see.
so it says in the mission that it's good condition.
Yeah, it sounds right.
So Chaim
because-
David said
I'm
because
not sure. Do you agree to Nissan's case?
He didn't say no.
we'll see
Yeah, because
the
he
Gemara. We'll see the Gemara.
He didn't show.
No, but if he had, he didn't say yes.
He didn't say agreement. Chaim David said a word that I don't know if the Gemara is going to say that he doesn't care if the father agrees or not, only if he's alive. He doesn't want to go against the father's wishes, but if he's not here, what's the difference what the father wants? But that's not necessarily what he meant. It could be that he wants his father shikaladas, and his father doesn't think it's good, thinks it's good. So we'll see the Gemara, how the Gemara is going to translate it. How about if the son died?
Who's the son?
The chassan.
He died.
Yeah, he gave her a ring, and then he
Could she
died.
marry a Kohen now?
Is she?
Wow, that's a great question.
A Kohen Gadol.
Was she married? Was that the question? Or
Was she married to him? And
How much
that's
do
a
you
question of
have?
Yibum. If he died without any children, because so then if he's married, then she's gonna. If he was married, then she has to do Yibum. And if
There was no zera, there was no consummation.
well, so what?
I thought it was to lechayet zera, and she didn't.
If someone does Kiddushin, and then after Kiddushin also there's Yibum, not only after Nisuah. So if he married, he gave her a ring, and he would have without any condition, he would have died. Then it would have been Yibum. She'd have to marry the brother. But here the question is, was it a Kiddushin or not? So the father is alive. So we tell the father, be smart. So we tell the father, say you don't want. Therefore,
Then the father can marry.
or
Well, there's no.
or anybody,
There's no.
there was no marriage. There's no marriage, so there's no Yibum. But if the father says he was happy about it was a nice shidduch, he's happy about it. So then if the son was married, and therefore the wife is going to be an almana and she needs a Yibum. That's the Mishnah. Sounds like easy. My almana she'er tzava. What did he mean to say when he says on the condition that my father wants? Does he mean that my father should give a positive affirmation, or does it mean that he shouldn't? What's the word? He shouldn't
Object.
object. You could learn the Mishnah means that I'm only doing the Kiddushin if the father agrees. He says yes. If he doesn't say yes, if he doesn't give his affirmation, so it's not a Kiddushin. You could learn the Mishnah means like that. But then the Imam Mitziyasa, read on the next case. There are three cases in the Mishnah. One case is that they're both alive. Next case is that the father died. Third case is that the son died. So in the middle case that the father died, what does it say? That if the father died, it is a good Kiddushin. But if he made the condition only if my father gives a positive affirmation, so then he didn't.
So that means it can't be.
So it can't be. It can't be that the condition that it meant that you have to say yes. Well, the Omar in, he didn't say yes. He didn't say yes. It shouldn't be Kiddushin. Mishna's mashma that if he doesn't say anything, it is a good Kiddushin. Ella, what does he mean to say? Almanas sheyishto gabra. He meant to say as long as he's quiet, which means if he's going to say I don't like it, I don't want the Kiddushin, then it's off. But if he doesn't say anything, so then it is a good Kiddushin. So the Mishnah makes sense so far that the middle case, the reason why if the father dies, it's a good Kiddushin because he didn't object.
protest.
He didn't object. Right? He
Didn't
didn't
object.
protest. Right. So far it's good. But the Mishnah, which was where the son died. So what would you say in the case where the son died?
The son died and he didn't, it's a steer on the Mishnah because the son died and the father didn't say no. And therefore.
So we tell the father to say no. We tell the father to say no. That's what it says in the Mishnah, right? You tell the father to say no, and therefore she was never married.
To say no.
So is there a problem with that? The Gemara is going to talk about this case, that the son died, and the question is if the woman was married or not. So we tell the father, say you're not happy with
It's
it.
too late,
Why is it too late?
because as soon as the son dies and he didn't say anything yet, if they have to teach him, then that means that he didn't say anything until they teach him, and therefore it's a marriage already. It's too late.
It's going to say too, if you heard about it. If you heard about it, means
Oh.
yes, you're right. The Gemara doesn't say what you say, but it would have been possible to say that when you come to the father and tell him the whole story, so you tell him, and now that we're going to tell you that the son died, so you should say you don't want it. Don't be quiet. But the Gemara understands like you that he heard about it and he was quiet, and we tell him, say you don't like, say not, say you don't want it, and that's the Gemara's
Which makes it a
kasha,
steer on the Mishnah.
right? If you say that the Tanai was as long as he's quiet, it's a good Kiddushin. If the son died, we tell the father that he say doesn't want. Amai, why is that good enough to get the Kiddushin off? The Gemara thinks that as soon as he heard about it, he was quiet. And then we tell him, say you don't want it. But if he was quiet already, so it's too late. It's already good Kiddushin. If it would be the way we thought originally, that he has to say yes, until he says yes, it's not a good Kiddushin. So we tell the father, don't say yes. But if he's saying now, the Mishnah must mean that if he's quiet, it's also a good Kiddushin. So he was quiet. He was quiet, and therefore should be a good Kiddushin. And now that he says, we tell him, if you're quiet, then your daughter-in-law is going to have Yibum. To your other son, it's a big complication. Better to say you don't want. But it's too late because he was quiet, and there was a good Kiddushin. So how does it help to undo it by now objecting? So I wouldn't know what it means, but Rashi explains that he says, I'm marrying a condition that my father never protests, not initially, but never protests. That he's giving it up to his father, that if he ever protests, it's not a good Kiddushin.
So they can marry 20 years and then
Right. So I just imagine that once they did in Suin, there's another Gemara someplace where it says that once they do in Suin, a person doesn't want conditions. Once he's married in Maaseh he doesn't want that. Then retroactively, he never was married. He doesn't want to give that danger. So I mean, as long as there's only Kiddushin. Okay. So if he says that as long as my father doesn't protest, but once my father protests, even if he was initially quiet, he's leaving it open that the father could protest even after. Say the Kiddushin takes a year, whatever they used to do. They used to first do Kiddushin, and they would consummate the marriage much later. So anytime, if you protest, then the Kiddushin is off. So then we're happy. Then the end of the Mishnah is even when the Mishnah wants that when I would really take off this dot that I made over here because it goes through all together. You can't say the case was Shasik in the Sefer because then as soon as you heard about it, he was quiet. Doesn't help to tell him later on, say you don't want it. It's too late because he was quiet already. It must be from the Sefer. It must be that he said whenever he says he doesn't want it, it goes off. That must be shot in the case of the Mishnah. The fact that Sefer says the way to get out of the marriage if the son died is by telling the father to say he doesn't want it, even after he was quiet. Why? Because the condition must have been that even if he's quiet, he still could protest as long as he wants to. So the kasha is then, according to this pshat, you have to say that don't want two different cases. That the Reish was, he just said we have to. What's the Reish case?
If he's quiet, then he agrees.
What's Abu Kudeshes? What's Abu Kudeshes? Like what's Abu Kudeshes? You can't say if you said if Reish is talking about also that he says anytime he could protest. So it wouldn't be true to say that if the father agreed, it's Mekudesh. Even if he agreed, even if he said nice shidduch, but then a month later he says I don't want it, he still could take it down. You can't say the Reish is talking about that as long as if he ever protests, it's not good. So that's what the Gemara's problem is. The middle and the last case we want to say is talking about that at any time he has the right to say I don't want. He can protest at any time. But the first case cannot be talking about that he says such a thing because it says what says Mekudeshes. So could he say that the Reish and the other and the first case is talking about one scenario and the middle and the last case is talking about a different scenario? That's not nice in the Mishnah. Shouldn't it be one big case? That's the Gemara's kasha. Yes, that's the case. You must explain it like that. You must explain that the first case is talking about that if he's quiet, it's good enough. Okay, good. Did I say right? What's or either he's quiet, or if he says yes, to affirm it. In the first case could either be either one. It could even be that he says, if he says, I want the marriage, maybe he has to affirm it, or maybe it's good enough if he's quiet, as long as he doesn't protest. But the middle and the last case, we have to say he's talking about that he said, as long as he protests, he has a right to protest. So that's difficult. But if Anna said, you have to say that's the pshat. You must say that the Resha and the second two cases are not talking about the same scenario. Amr Shlakish. This might be as a parentheses if you'd like. Amr Shlakish, Mamina, the Rabbi Yanai, Tachkina, the Mukmina, Masisim betray time of Aliba the Hatana, the Lo Mukmina betray Tano of Hatama. We see that Rabbi Yanai's way of learning was, his Derech Halimud was that he'd rather say that the Mishnah is, whenever you have a Mishnah and you have a Kasha, the Reish of the Sefer, there are two choices. Sometimes you can say some machlokes, that even though the Reish of the Sefer of a certain Mishnah are contradicting each other, so it's two different people talking, even though the Mishnah didn't put in, this is one Rav, this is another Rav, we'll say that it must be two different Tanam, and the Gemara does that a lot of time. Misha Shanazu, Lo Shanazu, whoever said the Reish didn't say that. You could say sometimes, but that's a big dochak. And Rabbi Yana looks at that such a big dochak, he'd rather say that it's one Tana talking, two different cases. That's what Shlakish is just observing about Rabbi Yana. Shlakish said, when he heard Rabbi Yana's teretz, he said, Rabbi Yana holds it's better to make a dochak, to press, to squeeze, and make the Mishnah talking about two different cases, as long as it's on the same Tana, than to say that it's two Tanoim in the same scenario. Because what does Rav Shlakish mean to say? If you wanted to, you could say that the Mishnah contradicts itself, and it's two different Tanoim talking. The Reish is one person, and the Sefer is, but Rabbi Yana doesn't like that. Rabbi Yana doesn't like to do that. You probably also wouldn't like to do that, to say that it's two Tanoim talking without telling us that there was a change of water. Okay, so that was one teretz. Rabbi Yana's teretz was that the Reish is talking about one case, and the Sefer is talking about another case. Rav Yosef Bar Yama, another teretz. We could say it's all talking about the same scenario. The case is that he didn't give him indefinite right to protest. He gave him a limited time to protest. For instance, 30 days, whatever you want to say, 5 days, whatever it might be. He gave him a limited time to protest. And the whole Mishnah could be talking about the same thing. In the beginning, what does it say? What's Abu Kadeshas, what's Enim Kadeshas? But it means he has to be Ratzah for that amount of time. And Lo Ratzah means he has to protest within that amount of time. He gave him a 30-day limit to be able to protest. And then the next case says that if the father died, it's Mekudeshes. Why is that? Because he didn't protest within the time that he was given. He doesn't have to say Dafkai 1. He didn't protest. And the last case is talking about that if the son died, even though the father was quiet, and that might have been an affirmation, but he still has the right to protest for 30 days. So the Mishnah, you could find a case which the Mishnah could read all through the same. But the general idea we get that the condition he made is a condition. You have to know, the whole Mishnah is talking about, according to this, what does a person mean when he says, Amanashi Saba? Doesn't mean a positive affirmation, doesn't mean they just shouldn't protest, doesn't mean that even if he agrees, he still could protest. So that's going to be analyzing what the Stam person means when he says it. And it also might be, again, maybe it's going to be relevant to the time and place. Maybe things change nowadays when people say that he should agree. Maybe it depends on the word that he used in English. He consents, he agrees, he's happy about it, whatever. It depends how he might have said, to decide if he meant a positive affirmation or just that he shouldn't protest, or that he has a right to protest indefinitely. So that's what the sugya is all about. New Mishnah, if that's good. Kidashi is biti. The father is she's the Ktana, and the father has jurisdiction to marry her off, and he did a very, very terrible mistake. He married her off to somebody, and he forgot who it is. He forgot who the chassan is. So now his daughter's in real trouble because she can't marry anybody, because she's Eishes to somebody, and she doesn't know to who. So if she get the right chassan, it's very good, but low chances are she's going to get the wrong guy. So she can't marry anybody. That's a serious problem. But now somebody came and he said, I'm the one, I'm the chassan. He knocks on the door and says, here I am. He said, who are you? I'm the chassan. That's good enough. We can trust him. That's a big chiddush. You can trust him. How do we know that he's saying the truth? So the Gemara is going to talk about Neman. That's the halacha. The halacha is Neman. But then two people can knock on the door. Two people heard that there's a girl that's been married off, and the father forgot who it is, and they both knock on the door and say, it's me. Shneim knows them get, in order for her to be able to get married. So we do limit it to these two people.
It's a
And-
kiddush.
Yes,
I could say that other, you see that she's popular, whatever, people want her and whatever.
and don't trust any of them, and your
Right.
get wouldn't help because maybe she's married to somebody else.
Right.
But here it says that you do limit it to these two people, and both of them have to give a get, then she can marry anybody.
Any one of them or somebody
Then
else?
Ratsu, Echad knows to get Vechat Kodesh. You don't even have to have that both of them should give a get. One of them should give a get, and the other one will be able to marry. Because we're not Choshesh for anybody else.
No, in a sense, it's also, we're believing these two, just like.
Right. In a sense, we are believing them because we're limiting it only to the question
them.
between these two. That's so similar to the Chiddush of Rabbi, that if they say it's me, you do believe him. And here it's only a question between the two of them, one of the two, which is a whole mission is a Chiddush that you do believe them.
And the ending is that if one gave a get,
The other one could marry.
could marry without a get.
The other one.
Could
Why
marry
does you have to give a get for? If he's the husband, if he's the real chassan, is good, and you're not choshesh for any other chassan. He's like you said that you see we only.
Kones means it worked. then.
Konos means that he could. Konos means the nesuin. He could consummate the marriage.
Uh,
Okay, so the big Chiddush in the Mishnah is the first case is just to know that the father who marries off his daughter, he really should write it down. Write it down.
He should write it down.
or maybe do better than
Or
that.
get some aid with some-
Maybe introduce him, to the.
Take a selfie with him.
The case over here that he forgot who it is, so he messed up his daughter. Serious. But here the Chiddush is that Chassan who steps forward is believed. And if there are two, so we limit it to those two. Amrav Nachman. Nam only ten get, vein nam on the nichnos. That's interesting. So Rav, I'm sorry. Rav. So we took the Mishnah very literally, simply maybe, but Rav makes it not so simple. He's not Neman that he could marry her. He's only Neman to say that he's the one and he could give her a get, and now everybody else could marry her. Means we do limit it to him as far as knocking out any other possibility who she wanted to marry to, but we're not going to let him marry her. That's very interesting. Neman litain get, vein nam on nichnos. Then he explains. He has no purpose for him sinning without getting anything out of it. He's not going to get any gain. We're not going to let him marry. We tell him we're not going to let you marry her. So what does he gain? Nothing. Not going to marry her. So why should he make such a sin? She's married to somebody, and she's a ish, and this guy he knows is really not him. So what's he going to do? He's going to say that I'm the person, give her a get, and then she's going to marry somebody else. He's being matir ish for no reason. It's going to be on his cheshbon. He's doing such a sin for no gain. People sin, but they do it for a reason. They want to get some personal gain. But here, he's sinning without any personal gain.
Sinning by lying.
Yes, and he's by lying, not the issue of lying, the issue of being matir and ish. This girl's going to get married. She's on the market again. She's on the market to get married. He put her back on the market.
Oh, and she may be usher.
If he's not the one who really married her, somebody else married her. She's Aisha, she didn't get a get. So why should he do that? Why should he put her back on the market and she can marry anybody? And he knows that it's not that she's Aisha Sish really. So that's why we trust him. But Ein Lem Alich knows, and we Yitzchak talk for. But we're not going to let him marry because maybe he heard about the news that the father married this, and so he has such a Yitzhak. His talk means it overcame him. His Yitzhak, his evil inclination overcame him. And he's willing to marry an Aisha Sish. He knows it's not him. He knows it's somebody else. And he doesn't care because he wants to marry her. So he'll say that it's me.
For a shidduch already for 15 years and nobody's willing to marry him.
And now he has an opportunity to marry an Aisha Sish. And it'll be neat. But there's Aisha Sish. That's really bad. And he knows and he's living in sin with the Aisha Chiv Schila. If she's an Amorosa to somebody, and Shanara, and Chiv Misa constantly living with her, so it's a real big sin. But we know Yisra talk about such thing as the Yetzirah. But in the case, just to trust him to give the get, then there's no Yetzirah involved because he knows he's not going to marry anyway. So then we could trust him. That was Rav.
So when we said Naaman, we thought it meant that he's believed to marry her.
Rav says not.
It says not. Okay.
And now Ravasi argues. Ravasi says the way we thought originally. Ravasi Yamar Afnem Malach knows that he's married. He doesn't say why, but he is believed to marry her. Now it continues. Umodi Ravasi Bomeres Niskadashti Ve'eni Yadas Laminis Kadashti is Uvoyach Bamane Ikidashtia She'ena Malach knows. Ravasi don't talk about the father. If the father says I married her off and I forgot to who, so then if someone comes along and says it's me, we'll trust him and he's allowed to marry her, and he's not choshish for the Yetzirah. But if the girl says, she's already a Gedola, and she says that I married myself to somebody, but I forgot who, and then someone comes and says it's me, then you don't trust him. So that's good. The words are good. Marvasi admits
Oh, but Omer, does
if
the girl
she's
know?
if she says I was married, I was Makabel Kiddushin, but I don't know to who, and then someone came and said it's me, I the one who married her, then you don't trust him to
Yeah,
marry her.
I
You
see.
will trust him you trust him to give the get, and then she can marry anybody else. But you're not going to trust because then he has no ulterior motive. But we're not going to let him to marry her. So the Gemara doesn't explain yet the difference. The Gemara is going to explain soon. But so far, we don't have an explanation according to Ravasi. If he says that by the father, what's the difference, the father or the daughter? The Gemara wants to bring a right from our Mishnah to Nan. So we have a whole of Ravasi and Rav. If these two fellows, if this fellow who says that he's the fellow, not fellows, the fellow comes and says that it's me, if he's believed to marry her. And now the Gemara wants to bring a right from our Mishnah to Nan. Yotzu, echad nosin get, v'echad kones. It says that if two people came, so then you don't know who to trust. Both of them have to give a get. And if they want, one can give a get and the other one can marry her. So you see that you are trusting him to marry. The Mishnah says openly that you trust him to marry, as long as you get as long as the other one, the competitor, as long as you put him to the side and he gave a get. So then the one who said it's me, you do trust him. So it's a kasha and Rav.
I'm sorry, what's
If that's the Mishnah, we'll go back to the Mishnah. The last words of the Mishnah. V'imratzu. You see that? V'imratzu.
the imratzu?
If they want it, then one can give a get and one can marry it. What was the case? Two people can knock on the door and said it's me. Each one said it's him. So then they both have to give a get, or at least one gives a get. If one gives a get, the other one could marry him. It doesn't say that both of them have to give a get. That's a possibility. Both give a get, then she can marry an outsider. But if they want, one can give a get, and the other one can marry her. That means that you do trust him even for marrying. If you say, Rav says that Yitzra Tokfo, so you shouldn't trust him at all to marry. You should say that you both have to give a get, but we're not going to trust you to marry because maybe you're Yitzra Tokfo. So she can marry somebody else, just give a get. But the Mishnah says openly not like that. So it's a Mishnah against Rav. The Mishnah looking at, Mamish on the page. Rav's looking at the Mishnah, it says Ferish Kones. Tif to the Rav. Amalocha Rav, Shani Yasam, the Chivon Ika, Acher, Badei, two same tas. This case is different because here there are two. I was just talking about if there's one. One comes, maybe has the Yitzhara, but if there are two, so then he's scared. What's he scared? The other one says it's him.
You see, they're not scared.
One of them is not scared. You see, one of them is a liar. You see, one of them is a liar. That's the kasha. But without that kasha, that when there are two coming and knocking on the door, let's say they both come at the same time. So one of them should run away. The kasha is one, the other one didn't run away. The kasha is still a kasha. But when you have two people, so then we trust him more because he's being very adamant about his opinion that it's me. You know somebody's arguing with him. He should really run away. That if he's the liar, he should really run away because he sees somebody else is saying it's him. So aren't you scared he's going to prove that it's him and you're going to be shown that you're such a Russia? So here, Rav also is going to trust them to marry. It could be the one who at the end gave in and gave the get. So we see, and he's the one who's still remaining to marry. So he's the stronger one. He did find such a shakran that he was willing even to compete. But once they said that you can't marry, so one of them is willing to give a get. So maybe that shows us that he's a liar. So Rav agrees also.
Maybe that shows that he's the liar.
The one who's willing to say that I'm the one, even though there's somebody who's competing with him, that way, then you can trust him.
Maybe he's the big tzaddik.
Who?
The one that.
What kind of tzaddik is that? He's gonna, he gave up his wife in order that she should be able to marry the other guy who's really the liar.
No, if he's a tzaddik, he should just keep her.
He can't keep her.
No, he should marry.
He should pressure the other guy to give the get.
No, they should both give because he shouldn't give a get till the other guy gives a get.
Why?
Because if
What does he know? What's the truth? He's saying the tzaddik is the one who's really me.
yeah.
No, so if it's really me, so if he gives a get, he's not a Shish anymore.
Yeah, but okay, then he can marry without Nisuin. The other guy can marry without Nisuin.
Okay.
The other guy who really wasn't married to her.
That's not this. But that's Kiddushin is saying.
Yeah.
What are we saying?
I'm thinking of the midrash of Shlomo Melech. The two of them, who was the baby. So the one that's cut him in half.
No, here's not the case. Here's the case that he's giving up his wife, but she'll be married. She'll be happily married. You know, she'll happily marry. She's marrying this guy who's a real Russian. Okay, why? I can see that the real husband wouldn't want to do such thing. That the guy wanted to marry Ish. I'm not going to let my wife marry such a guy in Russia. Let her marry somebody else. Let her find a better shidduch. Okay, Tanan. We did that already. Tanya Kabasi. The Rabasi. We have a Bryce like Rabasi who said that she's even married. He's even believed to marry, and you're not Choshe Shitzra Tokra. What's the case? Kidashi is biti. Then you delabi Kidashtia. Echad. Omar Kidashtia. Avnem on Lechnos. Farish Bryce, word for word. But the Basi said that someone said, I married with my daughter, I don't know to who, and somebody came and said, it's me. He's never even to marry her, not only to give her a get that she's married somebody else, but he's married, we even believe to marry her himself. Farish like a Basi. Kansa, Uva Acher, he married her, like he's allowed to. And then somebody else came, a late comer, and he says, it's me. What are you doing marrying my wife? Then we're not going to trust him. It's too late. Once we want him to marry, we're not going to make anybody else make problems anymore. How about the woman herself? So this also Rabasi told us we didn't know the reason yet. But here the Bryce says the reason. If the woman herself came, not the father, the woman came and said, I married myself to somebody and I don't know to who, and somebody came and said that it's me, he's not Neman to marry her, he's Neman to give a get, but he's not Neman to marry her. Why? Because she is going to cover up for him. So here Rashi explains that here the girl is in a lot of trouble. The girl's scared she's not going to be able to get married. So when someone comes and says that it's me, she's very happy that she's able to marry. So even if she knows that he's not the real one, even if she knows it's not the real one, even if she doesn't know, no, she doesn't.
She hopes it's. She hopes.
No, so why is it worse? Why is it worse than the father? The father also doesn't know. Again, the father she'll cover up for him. So what does that mean? Again, the father comes and says he doesn't. The real father really doesn't know. He doesn't have any negias about his life. So therefore, what? What do you choshish for?
Father still doesn't know, but she'll say, yeah, it's him because hopefully it's really him.
What's the difference if she says she wants or she doesn't want?
She's saying she's gonna agree. She's gonna agree with him.
And if she doesn't, and she doesn't know, the father also doesn't know. Again, the regular case, the father doesn't know, and he says it's me, he still doesn't know.
She's looking at herself.
Yes.
Saying, what's going to happen with me for the rest of my life?
Yeah, but you have to stop to say that she's going to be machap, even if she knows that it's not him, or else it's no chash.
She knows or she's not sure.
So she's not sure. The father also is not sure.
But if the father's not sure, so it's only his daughter's wife. His daughter's life is just messed up.
Yes.
By her, it's.
But what's the difference if he doesn't know? We're trusting him against the father's not knowing. So you're trusting him against the daughter's not knowing if she doesn't know. Does Rashi say anything here? Maybe Rashi helps us out. Rashi puts in the mirtas case. Rashi puts in the point. Rashi says that you know why somebody's believed to say that it's me, because he always has a fear that the father might say that this one for sure it's not.
Right.
Even though he doesn't know who it is, doesn't mean that it can be anybody in the world. Someone's going to come and says this one for
He'll
sure.
probably remember. He's probably a little bit of a short memory.
I would say the other cases that some people he surely wouldn't have married him. Like, this is not me. I never would have married him to a. I don't want to say any examples, but if somebody will say, I wouldn't have married it to somebody like that. So there's always a mirtas. The chassan who steps up, there's always some kind of fear that he'll be caught. But the woman, he doesn't have that fear, because since she has a negias to get married, well, she's going to be stuck forever. Even if she knows for sure this is not him, she won't say anything. Good? That makes sense? I think if you just leave it by it, I don't know. If it's just a power, I don't know. So there's no difference if father or a daughter. Both of them don't know. He won't. If he doesn't know, he doesn't know. But it has to say there's a case where they do know. And that Rashi adds on, there's even a more reason to believe the chassan, because he dared to say it's me, even though there's a sound the father will knock him down and say, for sure it's not you. I wouldn't marry my daughter to a.
Don't say.
Or whatever, whatever kind of that.
I don't mafia. I don't know. It's from the mafia.
Yeah, okay. So, but the girl is chashud that she might say yes in order to save herself from not to be a old maid. Look
We
what
we listen to the father more than
more than the daughter. Even Ravasi, who says that you could trust the man to marry her, you can't trust the if the girl. If the girl said that I married somebody, so then you don't trust the man who comes to marry her. You do trust him to give a get. So he says it's him. He'll give a get, then she marries somebody else. Iboilahu. Iboilahu. Ma'uliskal al yodo. If the father said, al yodo means the father. The father
Ah, I
said,
thought you
Yeah,
meant-
Kidash is big.
the father who said, I married my daughter, and then she's Mizana. I don't know. So the question is she chayiv skila? Because the father said she's a married woman. Now, maybe it's the guy. Maybe it's how could you give skila? Maybe this is the guy. I just
I have-
Is this
one.
going on the case that or is
I think so. That's the Mishnah. That's the
I have
Mishnah.
no- I have
What
no
other
idea.
case could it be on? What other case could we be talking about?
I have an idea to answer the question that maybe a guy became a mitzvah after the Kiddushin. He couldn't the cash on Aleph Cheshbon.
Some of that is definitely not. Some of that definitely was not the case. Okay. Maybe the kasha is not a kasha, but that would be a good answer. That even though you believe the father that she's married to somebody, but not enough that she should be chayiv skila. Machlokas. Doesn't seem to be talking above machlokas Rav and Ravasi. Rav Me'ain Soklin came to Rachman Allah Avli Surah. Tell the law him. Because Rav says that the Torah only trusted him to answer her on anybody else, but it doesn't give him trust that anybody should be chayiv misa. Ravasi Soklin the Kulim will say him Rachman La'av. I don't see the Gemara not explaining it, just saying what? It's not saying why. That the argument, what did the Torah give the manas to the father? Only that to answer her and other people, even to kill him also. Kill him, her. Amar Basi, Umadina Bamres is Kadishi, Shein Soklin, even though the father has the manas that he accepted Kiddushin for his daughter, and there'll be skila according to Rab Asi, but the woman herself now. The woman herself who says that I got married to somebody, and then she was Mazana with somebody else. So not chayiv skila. And Ravasi right away says, I said such a thing that nobody's going to understand. Ravasi, Hani Shmai said Rav Senigri, my members, the things that I said, make the roof cave in. Like anybody that hears what I said is going to think that I'm crazy. Rav says means to break. Mishabros, Gagan Bali is Toma, Koshus, Loshamen, Shen, such a thing that doesn't make any sense. It's called like the roof caved in. How could I say such a thing? It seems very counterintuitive. The father you trust more. The father you trust less. What's this Kavachomer? In Balichnos Kones, when the father said that his daughter is married, and somebody comes and says that it's me, you allow him. Amrit Soklim, that you sokel on the word of the father. If somebody else marries her, Mokum Shimba Lichnos Ein Kones, Ein Odin Shesoklim. I don't get the Kavachon. Anybody can help me out? Again, we're talking about the father or the daughter. Hashta b'mokom she'em bo ha'omer lefnei ha'av ani kidashtiya amati nemo lichnos v'kones am lo masakin lo kol kach al pi. That's what I think I got it right. That if you let the chassan marry, that means that you're not so worried about the word father's word. You don't make such a mukadeshes because you allow this man to marry her, and still the chayiv skila. So that means that even though you can say on the one hand you don't trust its father so much because you do let somebody marry her, still you give skila. So the woman who you trust, how does it go? The woman you don't let anybody marry. That means in a way you're trusting her even more. That's how Gemara looks at it. I didn't see it before. So surely there should be skila below he, but it's not a kasha. It's not difficult. The Torah didn't give her any namanas. The Torah didn't give her namanas. So when she says that I'm married, so we believe her only the chumrah. So there's a skila, but by her, the Torah never believed her in a way that there should be a chiyuv skila. Rav Chisda Amar, Echad Zeh v'Echad Zeh in Soklin. Rav Chisda says even the father, when the father says, "This is I married my daughter off," also there's no skila, and that seems to be the same as Rav. Rav started off saying that there's no skila. Rav Amar in Soklin. Rav Ash said there's skila by the father, not by the daughter. So Rav Chisda holds like Rav. Rav Chisda L'Tayim. We say Rav Chisda is in sync with what he says other places. Dam Rav Chisda. If a father says about his son that he's 9 years old, or he says, "Biti Zubas Gimel Shana B'Yamechad," my daughter's already 3 years old. Nemon L'Korban Avalo L'Makas below the option. The father is believed that the child is 9 or 3. As far as the korban, if there was a znus, there's a shogeg, they have to bring a korban, but not to give a punishment because we don't know that how old they are, and you don't trust the father for punishment. So too, you're not going to trust the father that she's Esha Sish. The father says the age of the child. Otherwise, we don't know. You don't trust the father to know the birthday of the child as far as punishments. So if you don't know for sure testimony how old the child is, you can't give punishment. You can't, but it best can't punish him. I guess of course, if he is a gadol, if you see by the age, by the size, you can tell that he's a gadol. But if you just need the father's testimony, so you don't trust him for punishments, only for everything else. That there's a neder, and his chem is a chayim, his hektish is a hektish, his erech, but how old he is for erech, and also, but not to consider him an adult for punishments. Yashikol Chachem. Thank you.